So I'm still on the journey to become a full-time artist, and I thought since it's a nice sunny day, a rare sunny day in the United Kingdom at this time of year, I would make the effort to just go outside, get some fresh air, a bit of sunshine, and stretch my legs, because you have to get that work-life balance, as they say. It's all about the work-life balance. Is it though? Is that just what people say when they've sort of made their millions and they're at a point where they can afford to get a work-life balance? You know, if you're trying to hustle, if you're trying to go out there and kill it, you know, perhaps you should just be working and sat at your desk for 15 hours a day or something. Yeah, at the minute, I'm just thinking about what I'm going to do with my week. I've got a few plans for the weekends, or Friday till Saturday, actually. So that only gives me a few days to think about what I'm doing. Well, where do you start? Where do you start when you want to, I don't know, let's just say you've decided, you woke up this morning and you're like, I want to quit my full-time job, or maybe you haven't got a job and you just think, I want to become an artist. Where do you go from there? Well, firstly, if you can't get work, you know, if no one is commissioning you or hiring you for whatever reason, for whatever type of work you're doing, then you need to perhaps think about making your own products and trying to sell those. And that's what I've been focusing on over the last couple of years now, with varying results. I've had some really good results. I've made products, I've sold them. You know, my issue isn't trying to get my first sale, which sometimes can be the hardest part. But so I've done that part, but now it's trying to sort of think, oh, how can I actually get regular sales, consistent sales, make a living from the art and design thing. So I've got a couple of things I'm doing. I'm doing art print selling, and mainly most of that comes from selling at conventions, in-person events. I've got to the point now where I've calmed down with that a little bit. I used to do like 10 to 20 events a year. Most of those I found to be sort of not really profitable, but you've got to do these things to work out what is worth doing. Like the first 10 events I ever did years back, like I ended up making a loss. It's soul destroying. You go away and you think you've got a little product that people might like, and you put it out there into the world and you book some events to show it off and potentially make some money for your efforts. And and after all that effort, you end up making a loss. You actually would have been better off just sitting on your ass and doing nothing. But that's just from a financial point of view. As long as you don't give up at that point and you persist, you know, you can at that stage turn things around. And I don't think anyone just magically succeeds with everything they do first time. Most people are going to fail and then fail and fail and then succeed a bit and then fail some more and then succeed a bit and then fail some more. And eventually what I'm hoping to do, or I imagine most people are hoping to do, is to just get to that point where the failures have mounted up to the boiling point where finally the success can now come. So yeah, with the live events, basically did some more, and then started to figure out how to break even. Then I went from breaking even to making a profit. And now I've managed to sell thousands of art prints, which is really, really great. So that's one thing that I'm doing, trying to sell my artwork, mainly on prints. If I would go to a show, I would also sell my how to draw books, the educational sort of side of things. But while I have sold probably over 100 how to draw books at events and shows, which you sort of think about it, as an individual, not sort of selling them en masse online or something, it's quite a lot of people to sort of come up to your table and say, I'd like one of those, I'd like one of those. But it wasn't really cutting it. I kind of felt like I could work on a product like a book, and it would take me several months to complete. And then after you've completed it, you have to then sell it, and that could be quite difficult. Whereas a standalone piece of artwork, you know, it's going to take anything from an hour, a couple of hours to a couple of weeks, something like that. And then once it's done, you can sell that basically as on a single sheet of paper. And I found that most people prefer to buy single art prints than they prefer to buy books that teach people how to draw the sort of stuff I'm drawing. So, but I kind of think it's good having a mixture of products, really, because there's some people that like what you do and they're like, oh, I'd love to be able to do stuff like that. And it's good to then be able to say to them, oh, okay, well, I've written a book on explaining how to do it. So if you're interested, you might be able to pick up a few tips. Who knows? And so therefore, one thing I need to think about this week is maybe what other products could I sell in addition to art prints that isn't a book? You know, I'm kind of going down the route of looking at what other convention sellers are doing. A lot of the times it's stickers, keychains, bookmarks, things like that. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I could just add some stickers into the mix. I don't like the idea of doing these like simplified, cute, chibi style stickers. They look great. I like them, but for what I'm doing, I don't think they'd necessarily resonate. So that's the thing. While I stand here, even though it's sunny, it's also windy, and I don't know if it's the wind that's blowing things down my t-shirt or if it's some bugs that are crawling down there, but I'm noticing that at the moment. That's the trouble with the countryside. As nice as it is to be out here and stand in it and enjoy it, you have got the bugs that enjoy crawling up your bits. So yeah, one thing I want to do is consider another product, and to do that, that's not just like you think about it and then it's done. The doing part is the hard thing. It's easy to sort of stand here and just spurt out a few ideas, but really the difficult thing is going to be actually taking action, finding a supplier that can do things for a reasonable price, because there's going to be some places that will say, oh, I can make you a sticker for, £1 or a couple of dollars equivalent. And it's like, okay, that's good. But then there's going to be others that say, oh, I can produce 20 for that price. Certainly if you're looking to outsource things from China, for example. So maybe that's what I'm going to have to do. And then even then, you might find that some people can do 20 stickers for $1, other people 25 for $1. So I'm quite good at getting a deal. That's one skill that I have. Trouble is, do I do that at the expense of spending an extra few days trying to get that deal? I think if I'm trying like a new little venture, like some stickers in addition to my art prints at shows or whatever, it might be worth just kind of doing it, not the best it can be done, but just getting it done as quick as possible, just so that I can sort of test the waters, try the stickers, see how it goes, and then find a way to perhaps reduce my sales and costs and things afterwards. Preparing for the next show. So the next show I'm doing is in about 6 weeks' time. It's the London MCM Comic Con. I've got a table there. I would be amazed if I didn't make any profit there. So that's a bonus. But we'll see, because last year, the last MCM Comic Con, I made only a third of what I had expected based on previous years. And I was like, wow, okay. Like, I know things change, times change. People perhaps don't have money, or perhaps the bar raises and the competition's higher. And so most of the money that people do have ends up going to your competitors. And that's just the way it is. But yeah, it's always significant when sales go from not just like 100% to 95%, or even 100% to 120%, but when they sort of go in a drastic way, it's obviously, especially when it's in a downward direction, it sort of makes you think, whoa, what's going on here? Something's changed. And sometimes it can be impossible to even figure out what that is. You can speculate, you can put it down to sort of the economy or whatever. And granted, certainly in the UK, the prices of just every aspect of living have gone up sort of 10 to 20% in the last probably year, 2 years. Whether it's food or utility bills, rent, insurances, the running of whatever you need to run, whether it's a car or a business or whatever, just the costs have gone up across the board. And that obviously has a knock-on effect on people's disposable income. So we're going to see what happens there. So that's just basically giving a little update of what I'm thinking about this week and what I'm potentially going to be working on. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you know in future updates. And if you have any other advice, things to do to potentially make money from art, things I might not have suggested, let me know in the comments. If you're interested in following the journey as I progress from being a current part-time artist into a full-time artist, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.